Okay, Joie. So as I tuned in earlier with your higher self, with your spirit guides, your Akashic soul records, I wanted to receive information that is most relevant for you at this time to help you understand your soul history, release any limitation, and align with your highest divine human potential. So my first question was about your soul colors, because that always tells me so much. So I'm looking at all my clients as multidimensional beings, and I look at different levels of their being. So first, with your aura, your auric field seems to be the most dominant color is light blue, but there are hues of turquoise and pink that you've mentioned, but this light blue is more dominant than the other. So it tells me that you are operating from your higher heart and your throat chakra center as well. So communication would be very important to you in your life, and the ups and downs of that too, but also seeking knowledge and understanding and wisdom. And part of your purpose is to become a really good communicator. It's something that you're meant to master in this life. And kind of interpersonal relationships as well. I'll be talking about that a lot. And also this light blue energy frequency is compassion, peace, harmony, balance. You know, so these are all energies that you actually bring with you, and people most likely pick up on that you are this very gentle soul. It's challenging when you attract people who misuse and abuse your kindness, but it's part of your mission also to learn healthy boundaries and, you know, being strict in that case. And but in general, people welcome your energy and your company. So, you know, it's you do bring this higher frequency. On a higher self level, in kind of your non-physical, most dominant frequency, I believe, is indigo. I feel you are an indigo child. Did you ever heard that term, indigo children, indigo souls?
I only heard it once, but no one ever defined it.
Okay, so I believe when soul is born, we all seem to be riding different ray of frequency of creator. So I keep attracting a lot of indigos, blue rays, violet rays, and the indigos in particular, they're very intuitive, complete empaths. You know, you can sense energy around you very easily. It's very challenging in childhood and teenage years and early adult years. While you are not sure who you really are, you just keep merging with everybody and losing yourself in others, and kind of shape shifting to merge with others or to have peace and harmony in others while you're not sure who you are. And then once you realize that you are on a soul level, that you are here to bring this higher frequency of indigo, which is like divine leadership, divine wisdom, justice, integrity, then you feel other people's just for a minute, for a few seconds, you read the environment, and then you have to remember that you are indigo, that you have this frequency. You remember who you are on a soul level, so you don't get confused anymore, and you don't bend yourself to suit everybody else's needs, wishes, and desires. You just stand in truth of whatever is relevant or necessary. So as indigo, you would also be naturally tapped through your third eye and crown, but you may be more claircognizant, where you just have a knowing. And it's very important that you recognize that as your psychic ability, instead of looking for visual or auditory as the only way. There is actually a knowing, which has full quantum download of information. So start navigating that, and the more you start trusting the knowing and acting on that, and also feeling, does it feel right or does it feel off? That's also very strong channels for you, feeling and knowing. So, and then through your dreams also, you would, as an indigo ray soul, you would receive a lot of guidance through your dream state, because your nature, you majority of your lives are in higher density experience. outside of the polarity of their density. So naturally in your sleep, you connect to your non-physical being, and you can do a lot of work there, and integration and healing and deeper understanding of your human body conditioning. So I would highly suggest that you start a dream journal, or learn how to decode dreams. I'm not sure if you already do that or not.
I actually been doing that since I was a teenager.
Amazing. That's a beautiful validation. I'm so happy to hear that. Awesome. So I then wanted to, on a highest dimensional level, kind of your source self is coming through as pure white, just this sparkly, glittery, beautiful white light source. Like for some clients, one could say that isn't everybody white, but for some clients, I'm getting a lot of golden frequency on that level. For some, I would get other kind of hues, but for you, it's just pure, beautiful white. And
I'm always attracted to like angelic.
Yes,
like
kind of iridescent, as you mentioned. Those
iridescent
colors, yeah. So when I ask, when did you start your individual journey? And what's your soul origin, soul group, family? Wholeheartedly, I believe, and it's also validated in your astrology, is Arcturian soul group, Arcturus, Arcturians. But you also have a strong connections to the Andromeda. That's where you kind of connected to or came from. But Arcturus is who you really are on a soul level. So do you resonate with that? Have you been?
When I watched one of your videos and I was going through each star seed group, I left a comment saying I actually resonate with that one.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, in your chart, in your astrology, your Pluto is conjunct Arcturus, and also your ascendant, your personality, the energy that you connect to world with is conjunct Arcturus. So your very, very ancient past, like the beginning, which Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, which is linked to that. That's where you started your journey. And also you keep using Arcturian Stargate for any incarnation into third density worlds. So in between every life, you go back there. You keep connecting to Arcturus. It's like that's your home base. And so in terms of the amount of lives that's in your records, like individual identities, individual journeys, I believe it's in around 500, which is a lot, which tells me that you are a very, very old, ancient soul. And I wholeheartedly believe, I feel you've reached, you managed to integrate polarity previously, and you reached 4th density and 5th density and 6th density experience. So as an Arcturian soul that is 6D and higher, your only desire was to support evolution of other civilizations, and you signed up in service to the universe. So I believe your first mission was in the Orion constellation, and you were helping with the Orion League in Tak, I believe it is.
Does that have to do with the reptilian?
Yeah, so Orion
against
the reptilians, and you also have square alignments to some of the darker places in Orion that are connected to the reptilian beings that are also manipulating and deceiving humanity at this time. So you did have a mission. You experienced the Black League, or the Orion League, that was working hard to support enslaved beings by dark people. Like you were in that place where it was pretty challenging, and your role there seemed to have been like a diplomatic relationship guide, mentor. You seem to have several incarnations there, and each time, whatever your roles and missions were, the expertise of your Arcturian self was always about interpersonal relationships, and your role was to kind of mediate or or absorb negativity to help other people find clarity or connect to their higher self. Like you came always almost like a crystal that is clearing the energies and bringing higher energy in so that others can survive the difficulties. So it seems also in this lifetime, you seem to have similar role where you are clearing through your own inner experience, through your individual journey. You are going through these archetypal shadow side of relationships where you literally would have attracted some of the Orion souls that you would have met, like the darker Orion souls. And in this life, you're meant to reach higher perspective and not let them feed off your kindness and love, and actually stand strong or transcend the difficulty or the challenge in the relationships. I'll talk about that in detail shortly, but it seems your galactic expertise, your Arcturian expertise, is mastering relationships with others and the self. So
what's interesting about that, when you said Orion, I was recently unlocking certain memories, and I know they're memories even though I was sleeping. I know they're memories because I couldn't make that up. Like
yes,
some of
I know what you mean.
some of the moves that I was doing, I was just like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. And I was against the Naga. They didn't have wings, they were more like the soldier. And I was basically citing their crimes against humanity. And I just remember the battles. It's always a battle out there.
Yes, I have goosebumps
Yeah.
as you're saying it. Yes.
Oh, wow.
There were several missions that you had in Orion through different star systems, and you, like whatever you are experiencing currently and the way you are anchored wherever you are on Earth, you are actively actually working against that dark energy of Orion beings, and you are supporting those that are less fortunate, perhaps of lower consciousness. So you are holding higher perspective where you don't fall into victimhood or hatred or I don't know what. You simply choose to trust that there is divine orchestration or divine support in all this, and that your role is to integrate polarity within your own being and navigate towards ascension of your consciousness, and then embody the divine leadership literally through relationships, and almost feels like becoming a mentor to people in your proximity, whether it's children, immediate family members, or doing it maybe more professionally within a few years' time. We can talk about that as well. But really, the signature throughout your reading is, like mediator, or it's to do with relationships and clearing karmic connections and relationships, and having a really deep understanding of how to navigate relationships. Have you been fascinated by psychology of relationships, or have you been studying things of relationships? Do you look at that at all, or do you know what I mean?
To be honest, I never studied it, but like you said, it was the knowing.
Even
It's
just
like
as a reflection, yeah.
It comes to me and I'm just like, oh, I already know what they're thinking. So sometimes I answer their questions before they even ask it.
The telepathy is very strong with Arcturians as well. So that's your validation as well. Okay, and you also have, you're also bringing in the Andromedan energies. Your moon is conjunct Andromeda, and also your Jupiter is conjunct, is opposing Andromeda. The Zenae, the High Council of Andromeda, is aligned with your first house, with the house of self, your personality. So you are actually bringing the Andromedan wisdom and the Arcturian wisdom through you into this world.
I resonate with this, especially since the first person that I think I discovered during this journey was Alex Collier.
Oh, of course. Nice.
Yes. and everything he says, it just resonates with me. And even though people already, disassociated themselves from me because of what I believe in, I resonate with his truth.
Nice. So I feel you. I feel you came from like before Earth, before this incarnation, you were in Andromeda. It feels like it. It feels like that's your most recent soul memory or soul connections, and you're bringing very strong Andromedan identity with you, which is all about liberation from anything that's limiting and really standing strong in the belief that you are a free soul and that nothing on a human level can limit that knowing that you are a free soul. So you come here to liberate any oppression or any insanity that can come through relationships, through people that can impose their beliefs on you. So you really come to clear that, to like be the warrior of light. Okay, so on Earth, I feel you have altogether maybe around 30, 35 lives. When I checked, you're not stuck here on karma. You keep going back to Arcturus, Andromeda before your incarnations. The first lifetime, I'm not sure how you feel about Atlantis and Lemuria or the inner world, but I don't think you were here all the way there, even though Arcturians as a collective have been here even pre-humanity. Like their energy here is a really, really long time. But I feel for you, you came only in around last 1500 years or so and had many incarnations within current civilization. I'm feeling that before, like the Atlantis, Lemuria, you were engaged elsewhere. You were like either Orion or Andromeda. How do you feel about that? Do you feel strong connection to Atlantis, Lemuria, or like ancient Egypt, things like that, or do you feel like more recent?
I do sometimes, especially when it comes to like movies. I for some reason I'm compelled to watch those type.
Yeah, I would say you access it more through the Arcturian collective soul memory rather than your own. I really feel strongly that you came within the last 1500 years and you had quite many lifetimes, and that your role was to influence current civilization through your energies. And it seems that you had many lives, and especially many recent lives, where you were right in the middle of humanity, very complex interpersonal relationships. You had many lives where it seems that there's like two lines, what I'm getting from your incarnations on Earth. When you incarnated in a male body, you were driven to like male leadership because you've always had higher intelligence or more intelligence than people where you were born in, because you keep being placed in places where anchor for higher wisdom is needed. So you were always like ahead of everyone else and always had these, connection to spirit. So you would have been regarded in your male incarnations as someone to go to for answers, for healing, for help, for decision making, and someone you would have also have a role of almost like it feels like a judge, or when you had more tribal, not tribal lives, like smaller communities, several hundred years ago, people would come to you as an elder, like you would have established a position of an elder within these tribes. So you have that divine leadership anchored in your soul records on Earth. And whenever you had feminine incarnations, female body incarnations, you were heart-centered and deeply devoted to support and service to whoever was in your proximity. You had this nurturing, mothering, sensitive, sensible part of you that offered a supportive role to whoever needed it. So there are some energies or behaviors that were a little bit out of balance that you were guided to clear or master or realize in your current life incarnation. And one of them is some of your male incarnations where it was necessary for you to be more mental and logical and analytical and strategic, really focused on improving, whatever you were focused on. You've forgotten your heart sometimes. That's too harsh to say it. What it feels more like is that your mission, your goals were so important that you sometimes overlooked that maybe your children were missing their father, or wife missed the husband. So there is a little bit of karma there where the male leader is not available for the immediate environment. So I wonder if maybe your father was like that, where he was focused with his mind in his leadership, wherever he does. And
he was kind of narcissistic.
I was sensing that. That so strongly. Mm-hmm. So this is not only clearing your own, and I have to say, it feels more like you are on Earth to clear this ancient Lyra, polarized masculine, deep focused on the external and forgetting the nurturing, the feminine aspect of itself. Because also your south and north node in chart, I'm not sure if you're familiar with astrology, are you?
A little bit.
A little bit. So your south north node are conjunct Lyra, so you are part of your experience, you are clearing or transcending the ancient Lyra karma. So the Lyrans were very focused on the external and very much the Capricornian kind of, dominant male control, strategy, domination, all these things, which they have transcended by now. But within human genetics, we still have a lot of that. And I feel also within your ancestral lineage, there would be many children that felt emotionally not supported by the strong male controlling fathers. So what you are called to do through your Arcturian essence is to forgive, accept, release, and understand that all these actions are usually motivated by unconscious behavior. You're just kind of on autopilot and you think you do the best you can. Also lack of love, and you are pushed from outside to actually go within and access the infinite abundant love inside you, because that's what you came here to bring. The love that you're looking for outside is actually inside, truly. It's so cliche, but in your case, truly Arcturian souls are most beautiful, just blissful love. So it is there. So you are called to heal the relationship with wounded child towards narcissistic father, the dominant father, and create now connection with divine father as your true father. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever had that insight that your true father is within your own being, and you are loved and accepted and nurtured and supported, and that it is safe to connect to divine masculine, and that you were so far experiencing the traumatized masculine, so you're now releasing that, keeping all the wisdom and connecting to the knowing, like it's like you're meant to reclaim your divine birthright, for you to know that you are worthy of divine masculine energy supporting you from above, through the crown in, from the galactic center in. And speaking of that, you actually have the galactic center tight conjunct your Neptune, which is the planet of your higher wisdom, your divine intuition. And it's in your third house, which is the house of communication, learning, neighborhood, early, school, things like that. So you actually, through soul matrix of your being, you have a direct connection to galactic center, to that divine masculine energy that's coming through your intuition. So I hope when you will re-listen to this, when you'll meditate on it, when you reflect on it, let your heart be healed, like whatever wall or wound was there because of the inner child that is maybe still, protecting the heart, you can now completely release that and replace it with love of Divine Father. Does this resonate?
Yes, it does. I totally have been feeling this for quite some time now. Yeah.
I'm guided to look back in your past lives on Earth when you were in the leadership male role, because I feel it's a little bit different with you. I'm really not getting, because with your Arcturian soul, it's unlikely that you became as bad as that. There is no, I'm really like that. They say what you were not like that. You were not such a, heartless. It feels more like you felt under pressure from the collective masculine, from the many males that you were. This is coming clear now. So yes, it's opening. As a male who was in some leadership role, you felt under pressure to blend in or be like the other men who were like this, dominant, controlling. You had your heart connected to your Arcturian essence, and you wanted to do it differently, but you felt you couldn't. There were blocks to that. Because of the pressure of the society that you lived in. I'm feeling this more strongly as your past life pain or karma that you're clearing. So it's not karma that you imposed on others, but the karma that you suffered from the dominant masculine energies. So it has to be very present in your life to really reflect on it and get a deeper understanding of how it starts, how it's connected, I believe, to Orion very much, and to these ancient Lyra karma as well of focusing externally. So that's one side of your story and what you're clearing here. And another one is the divine feminine, and it's really where you're guided more towards, where you start finding strength in your emotional intelligence, in your ability to connect with this nurturing, wise part of Divine Mother, Divine Feminine, which is also in you. You are called to release the wounded feminine, which you're clearing also for your ancestral lineage, the one that is, suppressed by the dominant masculine. So you are called to liberate what woman means in a household, in a marriage, as a mother. You are most likely, I feel already that you are inspired to bring new ideas in what women should feel like and be like and act like in a family. I'm not sure if you are meeting a lot of opposition, whether from your husband or anyone else, but do you get these insights, like almost rebelling against the traditional stand at the cooker way?
I think I've been like this my whole life. I've always felt like we were equals, boys and girls,
Awesome.
growing up. And then when I got older and started to notice like the psychology between a man and a woman, I didn't like it. And because I didn't like it, I would fight. So if my husband started showing narcissistic, like behaviors like my father, I would point it out to him, and then we fight for a little bit, and then I tell him why I don't like it, and I just tell him, we're equals.
Awesome. That's what you're here for, literally. So I'm so glad you're saying that. So yes, more of that. That's your soul calling. That's what you're meant to do, and you're creating new example for your children. Do you have two, or how many? Or do you have kids?
Yeah, I have a son and a daughter. Yeah.
And what ages are they now?
JB is 12 and Jocelyn turned 11.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you are, setting an example for them as well, so that they align with that. healthy relationship. Another stream of polarity that you were experiencing from lives on Earth was gathering knowledge, like the archetype between knowledge and wisdom, the third house and ninth house, because your south north node are there. But also as an Arcturian soul, the signature always is you come into lives to offer higher wisdom, to bring, you know, higher intelligence, to support evolution of humanity. So you had several incarnations where you were exposed to so many people from early on, where you really became good at reading people and understanding people and navigating relationships and communication. So really, really good communicator. But in several previous incarnations, in order for you to survive and thrive, you learn to bend as needed, and almost like, not like a socialite fully on, but being very smart at how you navigate relationships in order for you to thrive or to be popular or to have a safe place within the societal structure that you have.
Sounds like high school.
Okay, so that's the echo of that. And in this life, and I feel then you were feeling in your heart that you don't resonate with that anymore, like it's not meant for you to keep shape shifting, that you were then pushed to soul search and find what you really value, what is important to you, and not bent on that anymore. And that's what you're really called to acquire: higher philosophy, higher understanding, higher principles, higher wisdom, and live embodying that. You know, so you still use the emotional intelligence and the, you know, psychology of relationships, all that wisdom from the past, being really skilled at it, at reading people. But now you give yourself permission to express gracefully whatever needs to be said, and be okay if someone is not liking that. You know, they're welcome to leave and make room for someone who really embraces your truth. So that is something that you are also transmuting. Do you feel you realize that already, and learning to be strong in your essence?
Yeah, I even deactivated my social media.
Awesome.
Because every friend that I made on there basically don't like me because of what I believe in. Sometimes I was updating people on the truth because I see a lot of fake news. And when I look into it, I'm reading between the lines and I go, no, this is not true. And it's funny, when it comes to news, my sister always comes to me because she knows I can read it. And when she asks me what's really going on, and I just tell her. But every time I do tell people the truth, they can't handle it. I don't know why. Maybe because they don't see it on the news.
That was one of the messages, that you are guided to be okay with that if they cannot take it, or, you know, especially if they ask you and then you give them what you feel and what resonates as the truth for you. If they can't take it, it's okay. Like, really release yourself. And I feel you are already there, where you don't feel responsible for their you know,
I
journey.
think a couple weeks ago they actually said that. They said, just be okay with it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Awesome. Yeah, truly, you're meant to. And also you're guided to guidance without interference, or like you demonstrate what you stand for gracefully, peacefully, and it's okay if they don't take it, if they want to continue live in denial for a little longer. Like, it's okay. You're really learning to step back. Perhaps some of those male leadership lives, you wanted people to have your understanding so badly. You know, you're really strongly wanting to help them so much that you didn't realize the timing for everyone is different. So you're really understanding that now, based on past experiences, that you cannot force people to change, or you cannot force them to open their eyes if they're not ready. So you're just embodying your truth more gracefully and peacefully and compassionately. So that's another one there for you. What I was curious about your first incarnation on Earth, and literally in ancient Rome. I believe that's kind of where you started, and you seem to have been a fortune teller. Do you resonate with that at all? Like literally using cards and.
So, like I said, my sister, my mom, some close friends, they always came to me and they always called me a fortune teller, but I don't like labels.
That's so cool.
And that's one of them, fortune teller. They always call me that.
Yay. I've never had which I'm actually surprised that I've never had a specific fortune teller in any of my clients. I'm sure many of them were, but for you in particular, that word came through so clearly, like crystal clear. Her first life here, she was a fortune teller. So that's so interesting. And I believe there was no trauma or anything like that. You navigated that fine. I checked something that I would normally check in the zodiac alignment sessions, not these galactic readings, but you, at a time when you were born into this life, you took on about 60% of karma to clear. And by that, I don't mean, karma of experiences to go through that are difficult, where you reach higher perspective and you transcend, the limitation. So, and out of the 60%, only, where did I write that? Only 20% of that was your past life, your personal karma. 40% of the 60 was actually the familial, like your mother's lineage, father's lineage, conditioning, and the collective. So you actually took on a lot more of the others' karma, and only 20% was your own past life. For someone who has 35 lives, having only 20% of personal, that's very little from my experience when I check this for every single client. So it just validates to me that as an Arcturian soul, an Andromedan soul, you kept choosing lifetimes where you were devoted to service to others. And even in this life, you calibrate like over 80% as, around 80% as service to others. Like you do think, how can you make a positive impact, or how can you always feel from the other side as well.
That's totally me. Back in Japan, I had a neighbor who was basically confessing everything, how she is struggling with money or not enough money, and they need a babysitter and all this stuff. And I said to myself, I'll babysit. And by the time she took her son over to me, I said, don't worry about paying, because I wanted her to be stable. Yeah.
Bless
So
your heart.
I love.
I'm curious, did you feel connection, like soul level connection with that child?
Yes, he always he loves coming over, and sometimes he didn't want to leave, so I didn't want to get in trouble.
Okay, I'm feeling actually with that particular story that this is a past life reconnection, that you were a biological family with that child, that he was possibly actually even your child, or reversed parent, that you would have been his. Like you have a very strong connection there with that soul. So it was just a nice reunion and completion, and like it's a very positive soul connection. So it's wonderful. It's very interesting. Okay, there are a few more lives. You lived in quite a few places on Earth. I was getting South America, and this in South America, this would be some of the lives where you became an elder, where you were the one where people were coming to for advice and healing. So I'm not sure, how do you feel about South America and Mayans and Peru and shamans?
You know what? Oh, that is very interesting, because my maiden name is Auriga, which looks just like the constellation Auriga.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
you
Capella,
have quite
right?
a few. You have quite a few Auriga constellations. So your Lilith is opposing Capella, which is connected to these, Mayan star brothers. Yeah. Your Venus is trine Capella Auriga very tightly. Your Saturn is trine Capella Auriga. You have quite a few. Oh. So that, I believe you are connected to that story and to these ancient Mayans.
Oh, wow. And then my grandma's name is Zenaida. So I always resonated with the Zenae and the Andromedan.
Mm.
Yes.
That's your most recent connection, for sure, for sure.
Ah, my grandma. I was very
And
close
through your
with
and is she in your mother's line or
my
your
dad's.
your dad's?
And
So,
he used to have 7 sisters.
oh,
So that was a very large family.
that sounds very special. And who was the 7th sister? What was her identity?
Actually, she died at childbirth. So
Oh, wow.
yes. So, but yeah, that was the 7th sister. So I always see, like, I guess a mirror, reflection from the heavens in my family.
Goosebumps. Yeah, that's so beautiful that you see it from that quantum perspective. I received that guidance personally, and I didn't know who to explain it to, who would get it, but I feel you will get it, that we are guided to find these archetypal energies of the sky within our family and proximity. For me, so far, I was getting like the biblical, Christ, Magdalene, archetypal things that I identified. But I feel it goes beyond that. Then, so I'm so glad you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, then. European lives and like Spain, Rome, so kind of South and Western Europe. You would have lived there too. South America and also North America too. How do you feel about judges and law and things like that? I am getting a possible lifetime as a judge, as someone who had to make a decision whether something is right or not. Do you have any affinity to that at all?
So what's interesting is when I was a child, I always watched America's Most Wanted and Cops, anything to do with justice. And like, those judges on random channels sometimes. And then when I was an adult, I worked for a CPA firm, but I didn't handle CPA material. I handled the law, the litigation.
Goosebumps. Okay, so that's my validation, and I will say it. I believe the life immediately before this one, you lived somewhere in America, I believe Northwest, like the West Coast, and you would have been a judge, and you died early. Like I feel you died young in your life just before this one, and it was due to something was becoming complicated. I don't think you were okay. I'm gonna have a mixed messages here, because I feel like the case you were involved with, if you were to sit on that case and to give your decision that you were ready to give, it would have somehow created more karma for you, or the reciprocation of that situation would have been very dramatic. And it seems like you were taken out. I first thought that maybe you were killed or murdered because you were in someone's way. You know what I mean? But then I was feeling more towards you actually becoming sick, and you were taken out literally by the universe, by your higher self, as mercy, but it was something quite complex and quite interesting. I feel you were involved with law, and does that so you watching that as a child, that would make a lot of sense, like,
yeah,
and it's like it's unfinished business, like you left early, and
yeah, and then handling it for 2 years, I noticed there was just a lot of pressure, and it was always under fire, and everyone expects so much, and I didn't like that energy. It was very negative.
So I feel in that 2 years you were actually clearing and completing some of the pressure you felt under. I feel it was immense pressure, and you were taken out. So
I took myself out for the job.
Yeah, you clear that way as well. So that's fascinating. So going forward, when I looked at what to focus on going forward, I feel in your current year right now you are going through a lot of tests and trials and initiations, literally watching yourself, how you transmute situations, how you navigate them, and you are just sealing the growth that you have established so far. So through the challenging situation, which kind of like moving to different countries, it's a big deal. But whatever is arising this year, it feels like you're just meant to confirm that, yes, I did grow. Yes, I can navigate this without being too swayed by the stress or other people's drama, things like that. You're really meant to hold strong here in navigating from your higher selves. And then already by next year, by your next birthday, from spring certainly onwards, it'll feel like a whole new door is opening. It feels like I'm looking at a big gate that at spring will open for you, and you will feel inspiration and clarity of what you will actually do with yourself, what your identity will become. And I feel that will be your galactic soul mission on Earth. And I feel it's like to do again with relationship. You'll be dealing with many people, and I'm getting the generation of the younger generation, like the people that are awakening now. I feel like kids in around their like the young adults, I think is the best way I can describe. I feel you have soul contracts and soul mission with the younger generation that is going to come online with their awakened consciousness in 2022 and beyond. And your role, you will embody kind of this pioneering leader, heart-centered, supporting others in their growth, in their leadership. Have you been receiving any clues at all on what you feel called to do personally? Any inspirations?
Only thing that was coming through was to stand by because
For now,
people
for
will
sure.
start.
Yeah.
They said stand by because I'm going to be getting a lot of questions. I am starting to get some now because nothing is making sense on the news. So they come to me and then they get an answer, and then sometimes I don't hear anything after that. So I don't know, maybe they're still
Well,
processing.
I have to pause you there. It's such a wave of goosebumps. As you say that makes so much sense, because literally your part of fortune is in Virgo in 11th house, means your destiny, your highest excitement, where you will feel happiest, is you teaching discernment of the collective mind. Like, isn't that fascinating? That's kind of happening already. So it feels like you giving guidance on, being able to tune into the higher truth of what is actually happening, and doing it that way. And it's actually quite like the way you will actually earn money with it in years to come. It feels like your information will be really revealing what's hidden. It will be transformational. It will be like deep,
I've been getting questions even from my mother-in-law, but every time I answer her question, she always has another explanation for it. Like, for example, if I say, oh, Trump won, he never left, and she'll say, okay, maybe, well, he's just acting. So I don't know. She doesn't really look into it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm with you there. So yeah, it feels like that is something that you will be doing, but at the moment, as you said, it's not going to happen fully on until past spring next year. In the meantime, you are still clearing, completing. You have less than 10% left to clear for the your personal karma is gone long, clear. But there's still about less than 10% within your own physical body as conditioning of the ancestral limitations. So that will go fast. That should be gone by spring, for sure. I would say more so on this end, even before December. So it may be that as you kind of start integrating this call, whatever next guidance you will receive, you will feel like you now have room for your soul essence to come in fully and really embracing that you are connected to your Arcturian Andromedan heart.
Hmm.
All right.
So when I had that dream of and seeing a past memory of fighting the Naga, I does that mean I was in the Orion Black League or something? I didn't.
Yes. Yes, in particular. So let me check if this one was the Alnitak.
Okay.
This was not Alnitak, where Orion League was based, where they were helping that humanity to integrate polarity. This one, I'll tell you exactly where this was. Getting more so Bellatrix. So the particular dream, I believe, is from your missions in star system of Bellatrix. And if I'm correct, this one, as I look at my wall, there is a diversity of reptiloid species, all of them who are involved with US Tellus Alliance and Sikaar Empire. So at some point you were sent there to like be a warrior, literally.
That's what it felt like. I was like a warrior, and I even had a sword, and I didn't know you can have a like.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
That was surreal.
And this is not the only one. So your sun in Aries would confirm the spirit, the warrior frequency strongly. Sun in Aries, like anyone who has this Aryan energy strongly, they have many incarnations as a warrior, but I don't feel you having that as much on Earth as in Orion. Here, I feel it was more about warrior in terms of personal relationship battlefield, you know.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And fighting for justice, you know, for those who can't. You seem to be connecting with the collective and those that are, you know, underdogs or who can't or don't know how to fight for themselves. You are sent to these places. So also your Saturn is in 12th house and your Mars is in 12th house. Mars is your passion, what you want to put your energy into, and 12th house is the subconscious and the collective and karmic closures and what's hidden, all these things. So
speaking of
your
hidden,
strength.
I had another dream that I was sent to the underground, and I thought I was under the impression that I was going to free people, like live physical body people, and when we all made it out of there, they rose up, they disappeared, and I was so heartbroken because I thought they were alive, but it was their soul. I don't know where that took place though.
Okay, so what I'm getting immediately is this your like 6D self? No, is your 5D? Okay, and was this connected to Earth undergrounds? No, within solar system, within our solar system undergrounds. I'm getting a yes. I wasn't aware if there are undergrounds. Are there undergrounds? So we'll say moon. Okay, I'm getting a moon. That is this was a mission on the moon. Would that?
Oh.
And so this was you actually during sleep time assisting there because you are here, so you're kind of within the proximity. So you did go and actually help with the mission there. Is that correct? I'm getting a yes. So that literally is your higher self, or like your, you know, your non-physical self being engaged, supporting those fights, those rescue things. And is it you actually working with the souls, entrapments there and emotional energy? And it's because you're Arcturian, and the Arcturian energy is naturally most healing for the emotional body and for the souls when they're transitioning. So that is your specialty then. So wow. Wow. So that's, you remembered one of many, you know?
Wow. Yeah, that was in February when I jotted that down.
I'm honored.
Wow.
They're a busy lady.
And then was
They're busy, so yeah, go ahead. Feel free to ask more.
It's a fragmented memory, but I don't know where it went. But when I was a child, I used to dream like I'm floating, but my body's flat, straight, like I'm on a table or something. And then I also get it's just like one memory of being on a ship, but there were gray beings, but I don't know if they were good or bad.
Okay, so let me check on that. That particular memory, is it a genuine memory of real experience? Getting a strong yes. And were they service to others, Grace? No. Okay, service to self. And I'm actually going to check exactly who they were. So just bear with me.
So they must have been malevolent. They probably wiped out my memory, which is why I only saw fragments of it.
Okay, I'll tell you exactly. Do we have permission, and is it appropriate for us to know? Yeah, okay, so we want to know, was there more than one race involved in that particular situation?
I was staring at one, but he
Okay.
was doing something on his, I don't know, on his screen. He had a screen in front of him. I don't remember what he was
Okay,
doing.
so I'm asking particularly about that particular being. What race was he? She. So is it the SMAD? Okay, I'm not familiar with this one. It's SMAD, SMAD. Hang on, I'll just quickly check in Elena's book.
Oh, I have her book.
Yeah, if you could. Oof, not very nice looking. So if you can go to that last page, but I just am curious. I'll quickly go through Kindle, so I'll find it easily. Oh, I cannot minimize screen when I'm recording, so I'll turn on my phone. You know, when you looked at the grays in the book, did any of them look like the being that you saw or remember?
I just remembered their
Yeah.
eyes.
Okay, and I'll just see what other race was involved there.
They obviously don't want me to remember because it's fragmented. I don't remember the rest. I don't remember seeing that one. The SMAD.
And that Anak would have also been involved, and they are actually, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, they are involved with the Japanese abductions in Japanese culture.
Oh, yeah. When I received this memory, I was in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm just going to check, is this a current lifetime abduction? Is it an actual, first of all, is this an abduction that you've experienced? Getting a yes. And is it a current life abduction? Getting a yes. But this
I was in the frequency of fear, so I believe it was.
Yeah, so Anak would make a lot of sense, but this is mad. Colonized about 20 worlds, never by force, pacifists, driven by curiosity, as they do not have any dogmatic structure or belief. They show deep interest for the evolution of Terran religious systems. recently welcomed as part of Galactic Federation of Worlds. So that's very peculiar. We'll see if that information is correct. That was smart. Correct, there was a person there. So I wonder, is it a like really random single being from that collective that chose to cooperate with Anak? And is it kind of working as undercover? No, as singular, like service to self, for some reason. There's just like really random situation where this being somehow found their way to connect and be part of that project. It's very odd, but I'm going with what I'm getting. But the main one that was in charge is the Anak. So this was like just almost like a scientist, it feels like, or someone who is doing it just for the scientific curiosity or whatever is that person's expertise. But the one that was in charge of that mission was Anak.
Okay. Interesting. And it happened in Japan when I received that.
So let me just confirm that Anak are Japan's. Oh, and they're also Butes constellation originating, which Arcturus is within Butes constellation. So this is the second time now that I've noticed Arcturian starseed having an abduction from this next door neighbors. Very interesting. Okay, and so I just want to check, is there an implant or some technology that was left behind that is still there? No. Is it for the genetic material that they wanted your frequency because of the Arcturian and maybe the lineage? So it seems that it was something within your DNA that they wanted.
Oh,
that makes sense. Because of this, you know, the light that is there, that they wanted to bring the higher energy into their.
Before I got this memory, I remember hearing angels singing, but somebody said, I think her name is Megan Rose.
Mm-hmm.
She said when they're tuning the frequency or a connection with you, she said it sounds like singing, like angels singing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, the Japan thing. So I'm asking, did you allow this or agree to this on a higher self level, on a soul level? No. So is it due to your very low frequency at that time? Purely, okay. And perhaps from a higher perspective, source perspective, your divine self, that neutral perspective that sees everything as an experience, is it serving your purpose of trusting that these experiences are real, and really supporting through experience this truth to be shared? And so in a way that experience served you to be more passionate as well about expressing truth of extraterrestrial interference on Earth. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that explains why I started, without looking for them, I started noticing, that's how I found Elena Danan. And then Megan Rose and Tony Rodriguez. Yeah, I'm just starting to hear things, and their experiences I guess it's
started a journey for you.
Yeah, and it started helping me realize things.
Yeah, I just have to open the door for my cat. Sorry, just 1 second. Incredible. Any other questions you can think of?
Wow. Do you know where the angel theme is coming from? Because I always,
Arcturian.
I guess
Arcturian and Andromedan, they both feel very angelic. Both, you're literally, it's your soul group family. And also with the indigo, so I'm just double checking then am I correctly presuming that you would have strong connection with the archetypal frequency of Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron? Just as the two, the Ascended Masters very strongly. And then there would be few others. So I'm getting Muriel, Archangel Muriel. So it's actually, it's an angelic being, archetypal being that is very much one of your main spirit guides. Also, it's all about relationships and empowered empaths, where you learn to navigate energetics masterfully, where you're no longer taken down by other frequency, but you stay as the strongest magnet, strongest signals, and you uplift others. So you have that guide with you too. Any others? Picking up on Gabriel very strongly as well, just validating that in terms of your divine communication, like you are meant to be a channel in the right moment, at the right time, with the right people. It's, you know, when you open, things come through that are meant to come through. So you have that too. I would say a few others, but if you feel those, when you feel it kind of as a collective angelic realm, that is what both Andromedan highest beings and Arcturian. So I'm just going to check what is the density of Andromedan and Arcturian spirit guides. You know, are they like 12D, 7D, 9D? Okay. Would you like to know that?
Yes.
So I'm asking first about your Arcturian spirit guides. What is So I know they normally go up to 9D, according to Elena and a few others, but I'm getting here 7D. So that would be frequency of beings that participated in channeling the Ra material, the law of one. They're talking about 7 density beings who really are like planetary involved, and they are present in their frequency throughout the collective, and whoever opens and picks it up, they get it. But I'm getting it like 7D, your personal Arcturian guides. Is your own higher self kind of included in that? Like you are, yeah, it's like it feels like a council, like your own personal council, and your own higher self is already 7D. So when you came to Earth first time, like 35 lives ago, you were in between 6D to 7D on your Arcturian level, and it feels like you already reached that, 7D, really working with source or true source. So I'm curious, whenever you read about unity consciousness and integration of polarity, I presume it resonates a lot with you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and just your Andromedan guides, what is the density that you're connecting there? That feels like beyond 9, more like 10, if that's even a thing. So Zenae, they're up to 12 density. Okay, so you are receiving even higher guidance through the Andromeda Zenae, and that's coming through your moon, through your emotions, through your heart, because that's conjunct Andromeda, and also Zenae, Titavin, Andromeda opposing your Scorpio in Jupiter in first house. Again, kind of within, so your identity that you share with the world is very much aligned with that. The relationships, really your theme, your soul theme is I and the other. Like that is where your soul focus is, personal relationship with yourself and with others, and seeing others as a mirror to what needs to be addressed inside. So any teachings of, for example, Aaron Apke, who is such a wonderful job conveying Ra material, law of one, or the Course in Miracles, are really talking about ego and relationships, divine masculine, divine feminine. You would resonate with that so much. Or the yoga couple, they also seem to be devoted to teaching that. So I might send you links for these and just see if you find something there that you find valuable, because it's something I feel that you're called to be also a mentor and teacher and guide of, really helping people ascend rapidly through using others as mirror to something that is within them unresolved. Have you been navigating your ascension through relationships as well, where you take ownership of situations and always check within yourself first before you point the finger, or it's not?
Yeah, I like before I go to bed, I kind of like replay my day and see what I could fix and not do it, repeat it the next day.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. That was my biggest acceleration when I decided to do that. And so I feel people can benefit from that hugely, because you have immediate feedback, from what's unconscious inside. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can't think of anything right now. I think I cleared up most of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have to do like memory regression or something to retrieve those memories.
Well, if you want to, but I think the main story is, or the main message from that experience was, is clear. Why it happened, how it plays its role in a bigger scheme of your life, who was involved, and what was the purpose of it, what they wanted from you. So it was a DNA sample.
Oh, DNA sample.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask?
That would make sense. I was in the frequency of fear, like I didn't know what they were doing to me.
Yeah, because I asked if they left some technology and were you like then regularly taken, and it was just to take a sample. It was to take your DNA for whatever other project, I feel, for their own, because I believe they are working on developing ideal avatars for themselves, and their own DNA keeps dying because they're disconnected from higher frequency. They are service to self. So through evolution, their DNA is becoming weaker and weaker. So they need to keep taking star seeds. At least that's what I feel is intuitively. They need to keep taking high frequency souls DNAs to put more source energy into their projects. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that happened while I was in Japan.
So let me just confirm that, validate that. Yes. So did it happen literally when you had the flash of that dream? Like, was it around that time very particularly? I'm getting
it was around so I think it was 2017 or I think it was, but
yeah, so when
I was
you had
in
that dream,
Japan.
that's when it happened, I believe, in around that time.
And around that time, I was always trying to astral project and leave. I thought I could just leave, but it always sends me right back.
Okay. Yeah, that's when it happened. Wow. At that time. So it was very fresh when you had that dream. It was actually a flash of actual experience.
Oh, wow. I thought they were just taking children, but wow.
So was that night, was it, that you were an adult? How old were you at that time? Like 30 something?
Oh, when I was in Japan, I believe my husband was, at work. He's in the military, so he's always got to do, little trips here and there. And and I was alone.
Would it be a military base where you were in, or
yes,
there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so let's double check. Do these Anak reptilians have actually agreements with the military there that they can take the civilians from within their bases? I'm getting a strong yes for that, even before I was asking. So the other wives and other children from that base, they would have most likely regular abductions from Anak.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. That because I thought they were only doing that to children, but they are doing it to just anybody. Okay.
So there you go. So I hope it all resonated. What I will do, I will send you your full, all fixed star, all most common fixed star alignments in your chart. So you will see like a busy chart, which just shows that you are you've had many missions and you're a very old soul and you're connected to several star systems, but definitely the most strongest connection, soul family, is Arcturus and Andromeda. And I will also send you a link to Anak and Yoga Couple, just with regards to relationships, so that, because I feel you will be activating other star seeds through whatever you will come through you. I feel you will have that role of holding safe space for younger generation, for the young adults to be not afraid to be themselves and align with their highest truth, inner knowing. I feel you have that kind of role within the next couple of years and beyond. So enjoy that path then.
Thank you.
And I feel that there was actually one more message with you, for you to consciously value relationships that you are building in your close proximity, whether it's your children, your husband. I feel there is a strong potential for growth, like having a deeper and deeper soul connection and appreciation for how you serve each other's growth. Would you resonate with that? Even though he might be busy, but whatever is going on between the two of you, I feel it's creating a ground for your growth and his growth. Somehow you are like, your soul contracts feel like you are growing together and like you grow stronger and stronger. Is it possible?
It's possible, but the reason why it's like so slow is because of religion. It's because of the religion. He doesn't believe in like the reincarnation part, because that was omitted from the Bible. Yeah, and then I think the other
will change within a matter of year or so. It will become known to public. I feel these things will shift a lot within the next 3 years or so. So it'll kind of take care of itself, and suddenly it will start opening up more. But what I was feeling, and I really want to convey that message for you, that I see beautiful potential for both of you. There is so much more still to look forward to in your relationship. I feel there was like a blessing coming from your guides for that. So, and a lot of clearing and a lot of karmic stuff that where in your relationship, you were playing out echo of your parents and grandparents and great grandparents. And so, if it wasn't ideal, is that, that's why, like, you are transmuting old earth patterns. So just hang in there. It's going to get better and better. And he will shift too. He will shift.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes he gets really curious and he goes, "Can you ask them when we're going to move into a house when we got here?" And I said, "They told me to, but they didn't tell me days, weeks, and months." And then looking back, it's funny because in 2 weeks we signed for our house that became available, and then in the second month, but the second week of that second month is when we moved in. So it was all by 2.
That's interesting. Can I ask you, does he have strong Aries energy within him? Like, does he have either sun, moon, or ascendant, right? Aries?
Oh, I don't know. He's not like into astrology or anything.
That's okay.
But he is in the military.
When is his birthday?
September.
Yeah, I would say his ascendant. I'm feeling his ascendant is Aries. So when you put his information into any free astrology chart, you will see if he has Aryan energy, because it seems your signature sign is Libra, and I feel his signature sign is Aries. Like, you are complete you are holding up opposing ends for each other. So
Mhm.
there are qualities that he has that you are meant to strengthen in his life, and vice versa. So you are on an evolutionary relationship journey together. You have a strong soul contract, and just keep going through any challenges with, you know, aligning with a higher truth, graceful communication, and it's gonna get better and better and better. Please God. Mm.
And I hope he stops relying on the news. He's always looking for my information in the news. He's like, oh, where's the article on that?
That will shift to within, you know, it's just we are getting through the madness, but I feel like past spring next year, it will become more and more obvious that we allowed complete insanity to be part of our lives just because the authority said so, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and they told me,
mm,
they're telling me that they have to learn. They have to learn.
same
Because history repeated itself.
yeah. What I'm getting is that we need to be patient, waiting, and realizing that some people's belief systems are so rigid that they literally need a shock therapy. They need to see extreme in order to realize that, oh my God, actually, this is really insane, and disconnect from it that way. So we just need to hold space for it. We just need to witness it, and in that, the insanity and the dirt will clear. So just hang in there. All right, my dear. It was such a pleasure, such an honor. The email, I'll send it in a few hours. It takes a while for it to upload. Today, just take it easy, kind of digest everything we said, and then later on you can follow up on all the information. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Much love. Happy to meet you.
Nice to
Take
meet
care,
you.
Joey. Bye.
Bye.